Welcome to this special explainer, where we're tackling a subject that quietly impacts every single workplace, every single day. We're going to talk about how getting a real understanding of our coworkers can literally change everything about our professional lives.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. There's this unseen reality in our offices and on our teams, right? It's something that can affect collaboration, it can tank productivity, and it really messes with the well-being of the whole team. You know that feeling when a coworker's behavior just doesn't make sense? Maybe they're super withdrawn all the time, or way more emotional than usual, or they almost seem to enjoy conflict. Yeah, we've all been there. And those situations can leave you feeling pretty confused, creating these silent challenges for everyone. And here's the thing, just ignoring it and hoping it'll go away, that's not a strategy. In fact, doing nothing can actually make things way worse. It can crush team morale, slow down productivity, and really hurt the person who's struggling.
But what if there was a clear path to navigate all this? What if you had a toolkit, a real set of skills for building a workplace that's not just more productive, but more supportive too? Let's see how we get there.
So, the foundation for all of this comes from a field called abnormal psychology. And look, I know that term can sound a little intimidating, but this isn't about diagnosing or labeling people. It's about having a scientific framework to understand patterns so you can respond with skill instead of just reacting.
So a program like this has three main goals. First, just to give you a really solid, big picture view of the psychological landscape at work. Second, to help you recognize the different patterns you might see. And third, and this is the most important part, to give you the skills to handle it the right way. Not as a doctor, but as a really capable colleague or leader.
And you might be thinking, okay, this is just for managers, right? Nope, not at all. This kind of knowledge is for absolutely anyone who works with other people and wants to help create a better, more effective team. All right, so let's get into the good stuff. What would you actually learn? Let's take a peek inside the curriculum and see what kind of skills you'd walk away with. As you can see, it's pretty comprehensive. You start with the basics, how the brain and behavior are connected. Then you move into things you've probably seen, like anxiety and mood disorders, and even touch on more complex topics like personality disorders, all through the lens of the workplace. Let's just grab one of these as an example, mood disorders. This is a huge one, and honestly, understanding this can be a total game changer for any team. It all starts with awareness, and this is more than just noticing someone is having a bad day. We're talking about learning the signs, like when someone totally loses interest in work they used to love, or they're super irritable for weeks on end, or there's a big drop in their energy. That's the stuff you learn to spot. But okay, spotting the signs is only step one. Then what? Well, that's where you learn the right way to support them. You'll figure out how to start a conversation that's helpful, not intrusive, how to manage workloads fairly, and crucially, when and how to point them toward professional help. All right, let's look at another one. The course also gets into some of the trickier interpersonal dynamics you might run into, things that can stem from deeper personality patterns. So here, you learn to see behaviors that can really mess with team chemistry. Think about things like narcissistic traits, where someone just can't take feedback and is always grabbing credit. Or antisocial traits, which might look like a total disregard for rules or other people's feelings. Understanding the pattern is everything.
And this is the key takeaway. This knowledge leads directly to practical, real-world strategies. You'll learn actual techniques, like how to set firm boundaries or use structured communication to manage that person's impact on the team so that everyone can get back to being productive.
So this kind of training, it's not just theory from a textbook. It's really about giving you the tools to create real, positive, and lasting change on your team and in your entire work environment. And you're not just going to be sitting there listening to a lecture either. You learn through things like case studies and role-playing where you get to practice these skills in realistic situations. It's way more like a workshop than a classroom. And get this, it all happens in just 2 focused days. That's it. 2 days to get a toolkit that can truly transform your organization. A huge outcome here is that you get to move beyond just guessing. You'll walk away with the confidence to actually understand what you're seeing, which empowers you to respond in a way that's thoughtful and, actually effective. At the end of the day, this is all about building a healthier, more productive culture. It's about creating a place where people feel understood and supported, and that's when you get the best collaboration and the best results from everybody.
The skills to create a workplace that's this aware and this effective are totally within reach. So the only real question left is, are you ready to build a team that's more understanding and more productive than ever before?